views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola everyone, and welcome to Open, the one and only show bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to you. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. And today, we're celebrating the best Open Subjects 2018. This year has been filled with so many wonderful interviews, ranging from women empowerment, films, art exhibitions, food, and that's just to name a few. And today, we're going to take a look at some of our favorite and most memorable interviews. So, sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, because now we are officially open. Welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us online. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget, while you're there, follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Instastories, LinkedIn, and Snapchat at Rhina Valentin. 2018 was indeed the year of women. At the top of this year, we saw women take a powerful stance at the 2018 Women's March, leading into the 2018 midterm elections sweep. It's for certain women made it their business to use their voices to evoke change. And I wonder what made that happen. In the beginning of the year, I had the opportunity to sit down with the Women's March Alliance press officer, Sarah Gould-Steinhardt, to discuss the Women's March. Let's take a look. Hello and welcome.
Thank you so much. We're so happy to be here.
We are enthusiastic, right?
We really are. We've seen such an incredible amount of enthusiasm for this year's march and everything that's going on.
Well, I think last year's was really surprisingly overwhelming in the sense that I participated in it, and I don't think people realized the turnout that we were going to have.
We didn't. No one really realized what kind of turnout we were going to have. By all estimates, it was more than 750,000 people who poured into the streets of New York City last January. It was overwhelming.
It was overwhelming. I was in it, so I was part of it, and I was like, wow, we have things to say.
We certainly do, and we do again,
do.
and we still do, and we have a lot of work to do, but that was, this year has been an incredible display of women coming forward and demanding equality, and people in general demanding, their rights.
Yes, no, I know, and I'm really going to try and stay away from the latest, in Spanish I'll call it caca. Because I'm censored with my language. I'm censored with my language.
Yes.
Right. And, well, I think we all know about the latest controversy with that man that's in office right now. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done with regards to, yes, as you mentioned, our equality and more so organizing and coming together to take back our country.
It certainly, and I think that this year we can say that begins now with these marches that are happening on January 20th and 21st. The New York City March is happening on January 20th. It will run from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And there are, and this is an incredible number, there are 280 other marches happening all over the world on the same weekend.
Amazing, amazing. Amazing. Are they all happening simultaneously?
Many are.
Okay.
Many are happening on the 20th. Some are happening on the 21st. We have been calling this the hashtag Weekend of Women. because this is happening all over the globe. And each march really has been organized and produced by separate groups of women in each of the cities that they're happening. And that just gives you a sense of this sisterhood that it's a reality. There's a sisterhood all over the world, and that's going to be on display.
Oh, my hairs are standing up just at the thought of knowing, right, because you said global.
Yes.
I want to make sure everybody understands that's different countries, that's different parts of the world. And can we list some of them? Can you mention some of
Absolutely.
them?
We can mention Los Angeles, San Francisco, Toronto, oh goodness, all over the world, all over Europe, South America, all over Canada, and all over the United States.
Nice.
Really, in nearly every single state.
We need it. We need a global, unified, energetic force to combat the darkness that seems to be seeping into our space.
We do, and in addition to the marches, we are also, the Women's March Alliance is really sort of the driving force in a voter registration initiative, and our goal is to register 1 million women to vote by the November elections. We're partnering with Vote.org and Rock the Vote and Latino Voter and League of Women Voters and Headcount, and that is sort of our second huge initiative.
So I know we're here to talk about the march, but let's talk really quickly as much and provide as much information to anyone who may be listening that could either contribute or wants to participate. Like, so what are the steps here?
So it's really as simple as visiting, our website, womensmarchalliance.org, to find out more information about how to vote and who to register with. At the march itself, we will have almost 130 voter registration volunteers who will be able to assist anyone who is interested in registering to vote, and that will be the case for marches all over the country, and that's a huge part of what we're doing. It's easy to register, and everyone should.
Okay, so that's at the march.
Yes.
And then past the march, right? Because I understand the Power to the Polls, that's the initiative, right? The Power to the Polls is also an initiative in where certain parts of your organization will be visiting other parts of the countries that may not really be engaged or have the necessary knowledge that they need to make the right decisions.
Absolutely. So there will be education initiatives happening all over the country over the next 10 months leading up to the elections. And you can find information out on our website. You can visit Power to the Polls, and all of the information you would need, anyone would need to find their local representatives to register is there. And
that begins at the age of 18.
It begins at the age of 18.
No, we do. We need to emphasize because we need you guys to take the plunge and become adults.
Absolutely.
in the moment and having your voice heard.
And so much of what we do is really focused on empowering young people to exercise their rights and to know their rights and then exercise them. And the most fundamental way of doing that is by voting. It's just so critical to the whole democratic process.
Yes, and we thank you guys for taking the lead on that. And with regards to going back to the march on the 20th, what are some of the themes that you see are most prominent in the organization? And I'm saying, like, when I participated with a certain group, and then there were climate justice groups, and there was all types of social justice groups. But I'm just curious to know, like, what's the primary topic that's coming up?
That's a great question. The Women's March Alliance, our focus is on empowering women's voices and educating women and educating them to be active in their communities. That said, the march, we welcome all people and all positive causes.
And not just women.
And not just women. Last year we saw men, women, children from every walk of life participate, and that is really what we want. This is open to everyone, and this is about human rights, it's about civil rights, gender equality, environmental conservation. These are all really positive causes that we truly believe in, and the march is a demonstration of that. It has grown out of a primary goal of, demanding gender equality, and within that is, the pay gap. and women's rights in general. And so.
Yes, no, I could just sit here and listen to you because I hope that they're getting that we need to organize and we need to come together and we need to act as one unified voice. And please share with everyone what results we get from coming together and doing these marches.
We show when we come together in these huge demonstrations, peaceful, powerful demonstrations, we show our lawmakers that exactly what we want. It's so easy to become complacent and to feel like you have a lack of power when it comes to showing our government what we want. When we have these demonstrations, we show them exactly what we are fighting for and what we want. And these are our elected officials. They work for us. And when we come out en masse, we show them exactly what we want from them.
We have to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the best of Open.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back. Many people live with a mental health disorder, and some walk daily undiagnosed, and the seriousness of these disorders has several effects. This year, we had the opportunity to learn about mental health distinctions through the White Shirt Project, a project shedding light on mental health in the community. Let's take a look. So, the White Shirt Project, very interesting. What does it mean to you? Well, it is actually a virtual photo exhibit that has manifested itself into print, and it's now going to be up on display, bringing mental health awareness to the forefront through the simplicity of a white shirt. Our next guest will share some details behind the process of wearing the white shirt. And joining us to tell us more about the upcoming White Shirt Project reception, we welcome Executive Director and Creator of the White Shirt Project, Jose Ramon, and participants and models, CEO of Princess Janae Plays, Javon White, and Broadway entertainer Tim Ross. Hello and welcome, everyone.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for having us.
Oh my gosh, welcome back, Jose.
Oh, it's exciting. It's amazing.
It
I love
is exciting. It is exciting.
Yeah, amazing.
Oh my gosh, I have watched this just kind of blossom in a matter of a month or so.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And first of all, thank you for kicking it off. It was in your show that from there on, forget about it. Roller coaster, up, down, sideways, you name it.
Well, you know,
amazing. Amazing.
Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Let's just share with everyone what's happened since your appearance here on Open.
Sure. So after we had our appearance here, we got several interviews, two interviews in my house, and I have another one coming this Monday. It's been interview after interview.
From who? Interviews from?
Sol from Host Community College did one. Gary from Bronx Info did one. There were two
Bronx
more.
News 12 also, right?
Bronx News 12 did one as well at location at the Mott Bar, which was at the kickoff of Bronx Week, which was We were there.
Okay, wait a minute. Hello. I just want to share with everyone, okay? So since his appearance on the show, he actually had to manifest the prints in physical form to do a teaser to launch Bronx Week kickoff at the Mott Haven Bar and Grill.
Exactly.
So it was there when the Bronx Borough president was speaking.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah.
That is
And
amazing.
from your show, from when we first appeared, Mr. Javon Martin was there, and also Tim Moss was there also in the background.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about you gentlemen and your relationship to Jose and how you became involved with the project.
Okay, so I'm Javon Martin, and Jose, I've known Jose for a while from the community, and his pictures are, amazing. He's an amazing photographer.
So what do you do as an occupation?
So I work for the MTA, but my give back to the community, I started a nonprofit organization to help the homeless population of the trans community. And my organization is the first only trans-led organization in New York State that helps the homeless.
That's what's up. That's awesome. Awesome.
We're all
Awesome.
trans, working to house the trans community.
Okay, and so I want everybody to know that everyone who has contributed themselves as a model actually serves another purpose behind bringing this mental health awareness
Yes.
into the forefront, because it's an issue that we definitely need to tackle, right?
Yes.
And so thank you for being of service.
Oh, thank you
To
for
an underserved community.
Yes, because the trans community, when I tell you mental health is one of the key issues in the trans community, we have to assist and be there for one another, because tomorrow is not promised.
Absolutely. All right, Tim, I want to tap into your world a little bit.
Okay,
Mr.
Rhina.
Broadway.
Well, I'm not a Broadway performer yet, but I do a lot of Broadway songs, the big show tunes. Yeah.
Renditions, like, yeah.
But I'm a New York City entertainer,
Okay.
and I'm an LGBT activist, and I've done a lot here in the Bronx, and I've known Jose for so many years, and we've worked together and done many things and photo shoots before. And he approached me. He asked me about the White Shirt Project, and told me that it had to do with mental health issues. And I've suffered from depression and anxiety most of my life without even realizing it. I didn't know what was the matter until about 12 years ago, 10 to 12 years ago, when I was diagnosed. And then there was a name for it. And once I knew what it was, I could combat it. I could take steps and accumulate the tools needed to improve. And this photo session that I had with Jose, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, but
No,
it
I
was,
understand. I was there with you, so
it was-
we've all participated. Go ahead.
that photo shoot was the most intense photo shoot I have ever been on, because we just talked about, and we really tapped into my depression and anxiety when he just would take the pictures. And it is by far my favorite photograph of myself, and I've got thousands of photographs.
And that's because it's authentic. It's authentic.
Right.
Can we show some of these images? Oh my gosh, I wish we had tissue for you, Tim.
Oh, I'm
but it's
good.
so beautiful for you to just let loose like that, right? Because
Yeah.
that's the beauty of this project. And so we're looking at some of the images right now, and so the beauty of this project is that it isn't just models modeling a white shirt. It's
Exactly.
5 white shirts, right?
Right.
That each person has worn during a session, is what I'd like to consider it, because I'm also one of the models. But you're not going to see that image on air. You have to come. You have to come to the Mott Haven Bar.
You have to
Yes,
go to the show.
yes, come to the show.
Exactly.
And so it was quite an experience, even for myself. And just as an artist, right? And now we have this issue with Anthony Bourdain, and so these are just all signs for
Absolutely.
me that we're on the right path of bringing this into
Kate
light.
Spade.
Absolutely.
Kate
Yes,
Spade
Kate
as well.
Spade. Right, and Kate Spade.
And this was all started before any of this. And it's not to say, hey, listen, this just started, PTSD just started, and we're bringing light to it. This has been around for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about PTSD, because I believe it's PTSD Awareness Month, and I think that most people identify PTSD with Vietnam vets, but they don't
It's more
realize
than
that it
that.
comes from childhood trauma,
Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
or it could come from childhood
and
trauma.
it could develop at any time. I think the last numbers were 44.7 million. in the United States alone.
And that's for people who actually went and made a
Yeah.
visit.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
What
can't
about
even
those that
allocate
don't
the
know?
ones that don't even know.
Yeah.
And these are people that were affected from little kids, from traumas when they were young, to things that happened to them if they went into war, things like that. Losses, the accumulation of losses, anything could trigger it at any one time.
And so the beauty of this project, I'm going to go back to the white shirt because it's actually, I've taken, a real special, I'm taking special care of this project because aside from myself being feeling really strongly about the importance of the message, it's the style in which it's being delivered. It's beautiful, it's elegant. Everybody's wearing white shirts. We have people from all walks of life, occupations, gender, what else? Race. It's kind of like all that really matters is the white shirt and the expression that's conveyed wearing that white shirt.
It can affect us all, and there's a face for everybody to identify with. There's a body, a face, a story. Everybody shares a story, and everybody can identify with at least one.
And so with that, the exhibit itself also shares the story behind each image or that person's story and what they've chosen to share in identifying with wearing that white shirt and going through that process, which for me was kind of therapeutic. And so how many photos will be on display?
As of now, we're looking at somewhere between 25 or 30 or so.
Look at that.
Yeah.
25 to 30 images of people from all walks of life. You may want to drop some names. I mean, we might as well. We got Richard Pryor Jr. in the house.
Okay, so we have Tim Moss, Mr. Martin. We have Jeannie So, Andre Chulisi, Richard Pryor Jr., just name a few. People that are nannies, other actors, you name it. It's just a cross-reference of everybody in our community.
I genuinely appreciate this artistic approach of outreach in the name of mental health. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more Best of Open after this.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Hello and welcome to the Best of Open. Everyone loves a good film, whether it's political or an art film. And this year we got the chance to look at some independent as well as global films. And let's check out my interview with the cast members of this year's film, Shine.
Our music and dancing connects us. From the very first beat to the very last echo.
Are you back for good?
Here for business.
We all know that gentrification is a dirty word in this city.
You turned your back on your family for a payout.
This change isn't for us. It's to remove us.
Se rumora que salimos a cazar, que andamos en máscara.
If one building stands firm, it can't complete the project.
This ain't no step up. At least we doing something.
It's double the market price. There are 2 languages, no y no.
Junior, what the hell are you doing?
How hard would you fight for everything your father believed in?
The New York Salsa Throwdown is in 2 weeks. This can help us reach our goal.
There's something worth preserving here.
You go to your brother. You need him.
They could turn off all these lights and tear all this down. We still gonna shine.
And joining us to tell us more about the film, we welcome two of the actors from the film Shine. Please welcome Kimberly Flores and Yadi Collado. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, thank you for having us, Rhina.
Absolutely.
So happy to be here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How exciting is this?
It's awesome. It's just an emotional time for us. I mean, we've worked so hard for this for such a long time. And the day is here in T-minus 7 days.
I know. T-minus
insane.
7 days.
That's right. Yeah.
T-minus 7 days.
My calendar, 7, 6.
We've been waiting.
The beauty is that you are opening during Hispanic Heritage Month.
That's right.
And in addition to that, it's shedding light on Puerto Rico, which we can use all the light in whatever form possible. And let's talk about your journey in Shine.
It was a very, very long process. The director, Anthony Nardolillo, came up with the concept over 10 years ago and reworked the script, did a lot of fundraising. So you've been with
him for 10 years
I've been with him for 10 years.
Working on this particular
project. Yes, well, I did the short film with him many, many years ago, and I trained the lead dancer and had a little part in that film, and he then was trying to create the feature film. It took almost 11 years for him to do that. He did a Kickstarter campaign, and it was one of the largest crowdfunded platformed movies, I think, as of 2 years ago in GoFundMe history. So so now here we are. It's 3 years later since we shot, and we have a movie coming out on October 5th.
Oh my gosh, just like that. She's like, bueno, after 3 years shooting.
That's it.
It's only 11 years, but
that's it.
Well, the beauty is that it's already beginning to win awards, right? It won 2017 Urban Film Festival last year, right?
Yes, it did.
And so this year, you actually premiere nationwide.
Yes.
That is super exciting, especially already receiving like millions of views on YouTube just for the trailer.
That's right. It's not common for a film of this size with this budget in order to make it into theaters the way it did. We're going to be in over 300 theaters across the country, and more are booking over this weekend and into next week. So if you want to see it, go to shinethemovie.com and click the demand button, put in your zip code, and then request it in your local theater.
You can always follow us on Instagram. They're always updating everyone about what's going on with the film at Shine Film 2018. So make sure to follow us so you guys stay tuned on what's going on with the film.
Yadi,
dime.
How did it feel for you to be part of a film that's predominantly Latino?
I loved it, I gotta tell you. I mean, I'm born and raised here in the city. It was filmed here in the city. It's about the culture that I love. Somos prima, yo soy dominicana. But Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, we're cousins, we're family. It's very similar culture. And it just felt so good to find something that I feel my family, the people I grew up with, the surrounding communities here in New York City can actually relate to, that they can actually see themselves when they look on that screen. It's a beautiful thing.
And Kimberly, I understand that you, aside from being like this prominent character within the film and a business owner, which I love that aspect, right?
Yes.
As a woman, because I'm all about women entrepreneurs, and you're representing one, so just hence elevating the roles that we play, right? And in addition to that, you're one of the salsa dancers, and you were one of the trainers, I understand.
Trainers in terms of the dancers? Well, my life story is I was a professional salsa dancer for many, many years. And Jadi also has a lovely dance background as well. But I danced and toured. So Josie in the film, she kind of represents my life. So when we all came to do the film, we all were already established dancers with our own backgrounds. We all contributed a lot in terms of story and helping shaping the world, but also into doing the performances. We all brought our own backgrounds, and we came and did a lot of great work. But the choreographers were Grisel Ponce, Charlie Garcia, and Lyric Cruz. But we all worked together, and the dancing is the part that I think you guys are really gonna love. It's never seen onto Salsa New York style dancing on TV, and you will see it.
Oh, come on. Can you give it just a little something? Like,
you want to see some dancing?
Oh my gosh, I wasn't counting on it, but
oh, whatever you want.
All right, we're gonna see that for the end of the show.
Yes,
I'm gonna figure out how to get that into the end of the show, just to give everybody a taste as we close out the show.
Right.
That sounds good to me.
Oh my gosh, we gotta conjure up the money, the music, the music.
Yes,
So
yes.
we got to figure that out. But back to the actual film
Yes.
that's being released in another week or so,
Yes.
nationwide again, and
October
it's called
5th.
Shine. And of course, the logo on the film is the Puerto Rican flag. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it takes place in Spanish Harlem, and we have, as most people know, in New York City, there's a huge community of Puerto Ricans in Spanish Harlem. We have a long-standing history. We contributed a lot to the New York City community culture. We are a part of the fabric of New York City, and I think that's forgotten, and the movie kind of reminds us that Puerto Ricans have a place in this city, that they contributed to this city, and as gentrification continues to happen, we shouldn't forget that we are a part of the city. We've created music. We have a lot of cultural things that we've contributed to the city as well. And it's time to celebrate that, and that's what Shine does.
Yeah, the good thing also is that it's not that change is always terrible. But one of the quotes that Josie says in the film is we just want to incorporate the community in that conversation of change, not remove them.
I like that because it's about embracing,
Yes.
but not forgetting or eliminating.
Yes.
Right.
And that's the difference.
Yes,
here.
exactly.
Like there's this battle to just remain.
Right.
Because they're making things unaffordable and they're
Right.
pretty much little by little wiping out our culture
Yes.
in
Right.
certain areas within New York. So this is beautiful
Yes.
that you guys are making a statement. And I wanted to ask you also, how is the dancing metaphoric to this transformation that's occurring within the city?
I mean, I feel that, there's a lot of dancing in the film, but it's not a dance movie. It's much more than that. I feel like the dance and the music is like a character, just like it plays in our own lives. Like I remember growing up and sábado por la mañana, your mom turned on that radio, passes you the broom, and then you keep on going. So it's always been a character in our life, has always been central to what we do. So it's important that we share that with the community. When words can't speak for you, music and dance do, and music and dance can heal. And so I think that's the beauty about this film.
I have a feeling that's exactly how everybody's going to leave feeling.
Yeah.
And of course, there's also that relatability, right? Because
Right.
we need to see our people on screen.
Yeah.
And you guys, we need to support seeing our people on screen.
Yes.
So before we go, let's just mention some of the actors that are part of this film
Yes.
because we got some nice actors. David Zayas, we
Yeah.
love him.
Yes, David Zayas from Dexter, Alicia Reyna from Orange is the New Black, and then our two male leads are Jorge Burgos and Gilbert Saldivar.
Yes.
And so the film itself is being released October 5th, but the big premiere is going to be in LA,
Yes.
October 2nd. I
Yes.
understand you have a really wonderful distribution deal. I'm
Yes.
so looking forward to seeing
Thank
this film.
you.
And do you have any last words you'd like to share with our viewers?
Please come see our film October 5th in New York City and throughout the country. Get your tickets now.
Yes. We're counting on seeing those booties in the seats.
Yeah.
And maybe shaking and grooving in them because we won't be able to stop. And yeah, follow us and keep up with us. Shine Film 2018.
Yeah, my kind of movie.
That's the sound.
That's it.
We're taking a quick break, but we'll be back with more Best of Open after this.
Fast-paced family life in need of a slowdown?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Did you know all those green shapes on maps are parks and forests? It's true. Visit discovertheforest.org and plan to visit a park or forest near you, instead of just wondering what it would have been like.
While the word forest might make you think of distant lands from far, far away, please note parks and forests are closer than you think, which means things like beautiful scenery, fresh air, and family time are also closer than you think.
Here at Open, food segments are one of our favorites. Yummy, yeah. We get to cook up dishes with gas and promote some of the best food of the season. And this year we have the opportunity to talk to the empanologist himself, Jason Alicea, the founder of Empanology, a shop filled with unique, tasty empanadas. Let's check this out. So, today's inquiring question is, do you like empanadas? Do you even know what empanadas are? Well, if you don't, You're going to learn because our next guest decided to put a spin on the Puerto Rican empanada with his company Empanology, creative handcrafted empanadas filled with innovative ingredients. And so here to talk Empanology, I love that word, while we cook up some empanadas, we welcome founder and Bronx empanologist, otra vez con el empanada, himself, Jason Alicea.
How are you? Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
Oh, we are super excited to have you here. I'm not gonna lie, I've had a preview taste of Empanology because we were there for the Bronx Week. I have a favorite, I requested the favorite, but I wanna get to know how it is that you came up with the ingredients, because he has a unique ingredients in these empanadas.
Well, it all started at home, growing up, watching grandma cook. And then that transitioned into helping my mom cook. And quite often on the menu were empanadas for fight night, game night, after basketball practice and stuff. So from a very young age, I was exposed to making empanadas, and frequent trips to PR only helped me learn a little bit more about the unique pastry. So,
and it's interesting that it's considered a pastry, even though there's like meat and chicken and like patty style, right? But it's still considered a pastry. So while he's talking, he's just like throwing in sofrito, he's just throwing in onions. I'm just going to mention the things that he tossed in there. What else did you throw in
so
there?
we got white and red onions, a little bit of house-made sofrito, and some chopped garlic right now. We're going to let that sweat down. And today we're making our summer squash, which is our pretty popular, most popular vegetarian option today.
Okay, so you're gonna make summer squash. That's separate from the Empanology?
No, Empanology is the name of the company. In there you have already the summer squash. I'm just displaying and showing the step-by-step process of
You're
how I
actually
make it.
showing us
Yeah,
the inside?
a little bit of secret. I got one secret here, but I'm exposing some stuff here. So here we have some shredded zucchini. Next we're gonna, as I mentioned, I got the onions and the garlic sweating out. Gonna throw in the zucchini, then just some spices. I have some a secret mix of some paprika, cayenne, garlic. I got some onion, oregano, fresh spinach, cilantro, and salt and pepper, and that's pretty much it. The ingredient of love goes a long way with this filling.
I like that, and I gotta tell you, is this the one that you gifted me with?
That you went home and cooked.
Oh my gosh, I ended up having to cook it myself because I missed the cooked versions of it, but it was okay. It wasn't, you know, it still tasted just as good. It probably would have tasted better if you made it.
That's what we want, though. We want people to be able to order them online and take them home and be able to enjoy them with their family, a quick home-cooked meal, you know?
Okay, so I requested that he come in and make the vegetarian version just because it was just such an absolutely, delicious, beyond words experience for me.
Thank you.
Excuse me, to eat a empanada that is just straight up vegetarian. You know, I mean, I'm not a straight up vegetarian. I do chicken and so forth, but his combinations are really what fascinates me. And so just share with everyone the other options that you presented during Bronx Week.
Bronx Week, we kicked off at My Haven Bar and Grill. Shout out to Rosa for letting that happen. So we did some tacos, and we did 2 flavors of empanadas. I think we did the chicken bacon guac, which is our new flavor. We call it Californication. And we did the vegetarian one, which is the summer squash, our biggest vegetarian seller, and that's all local vegetables from the green market.
And you also did something that had mac and cheese in it.
Oh,
I forgot the name of it.
Chicken truffle mac. How can we forget about the chicken truffle mac?
Can you imagine? I tried that one too.
Yeah.
But this one was my favorite. I mean, they were all delish, but this one was my favorite. And the reason I keep mentioning this is because, you know, I'm Puerto Rican and I was raised on eating empanadas, you know. Sometimes we call it pastelillos. So what's the difference between a pastelillo and an empanada?
Pastelilloology doesn't sound good.
Oh, God.
So there we go.
There you go.
Empanology. I grew up calling them pastelillos as well. And when it came to rebranding and starting this company, pastelilloology didn't have that ring that empanology kind of did, and
I feel you.
or a pastelilloologist doesn't really. It's too,
Yeah, no,
So we
you're
went
right.
with empanology, and everybody likes it. It's working so far.
Yeah, no, it is working. You can see I'm loving the word, right? I've done used it. I don't even know how many times. We're going to count how many times I say empanology, empanologist, empanada. And so, really, I guess I'm most curious about how you were able to identify what goes well together inside.
Okay, so I grew up cooking at home with Mom, but right out of high school, I started working for Whole Foods, and 13 long years later, now I'm a culinary graduate. I graduated from the ICE, Institute of Culinary Education, downtown, and I took their culinary management class. With doing so, I got to travel. I got to visit a lot of high-end restaurants in the city and worked with a lot of chefs, picked their brains, and just tested, empanology, the study of empanadas. I've been studying different combinations, your favorite sandwich pairings, test them out. We do a pop-up. People like them. We put it on our menu. Simple as that.
Love it. I love it. I love it that you brought it back home, though.
Always.
You know, you didn't go and then become some, vivi French,
No, we're gonna do this in the
culinary
Bronx.
chef.
Yeah.
No, he's
There's
like,
nothing wrong with that, though.
No, there is nothing wrong
But
with
I gotta
it.
do it in the Bronx before we go anywhere else with this.
Awesome. And so, they're telling me we're running out of time. Are we going to have time to put that in an empanada? Or we're just going to eat it like that?
Oh,
and
we
I
got
gotta
them
eat one of
already
those?
made. I
Oh,
just
they're already
fried these
made.
up. I can cut one in half for you.
Okay, yeah, so we can show everybody.
See what's happening
And
inside.
so while you're doing that, can we tell everybody exactly how they can obtain these empanadas? Because you
Okay.
actually mail them out, right?
No, we don't ship right now. However, we are opening our first brick and mortar.
Well,
It's gonna be-
congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
And when does that happen?
Haven't sent. Right now, I'm gonna say a date. It's tentative, July 14th. We're located at 2407 3rd Avenue Bridge, right under the 3rd Avenue Bridge in Mount Haven.
Congratulations.
And it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be outside seating. We're gonna have some live music and special events. So you can catch us there. We're gonna be at the Bronx Night Market, June 30th. And you can log on to our website where you can pick up only at the shop, empanology.com.
And so I went ahead of the game, and I already have him doing United States shipping, only because he sent me home with a box. So I assume that he does delivery, but we haven't gotten to that yet. First, he has to open up the brick and mortar, right? One step at a time. You're doing so great. That's what it is.
You know what?
You're like moving at warp speed over here. And
fried
I'm just
the
watching
wrong-
him cut it because I'm going, hey. All right, so how do we show this to everybody?
These are pastelón, so
Okay, so
I made the wrong one.
You made the wrong one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I hope you
gosh.
like
What, does this
pastelón.
have meat?
Yeah. there
Okay,
you
I don't
go.
eat meat.
I'll eat one then.
You can eat it. You
Oh,
can
we
eat it.
have those.
I'm gonna eat that when you're done with it.
So this is our pastelón. This is our ground meat, sweet plantains, and beef picadillo.
Right. So for those of you who eat meat, I mean, most.
I'm sorry. I thought
It's
I
all
brought
good.
them.
Don't worry about
I'll
it.
get
It's all
this
right.
after the show.
It's a preference. I know. Yo no como carne. That's it.
No, I
it's
got
no
you.
big deal. All right, but you have that option. It's not just vegetarian and it's
Yeah,
not chicken.
we got over 38 flavors.
38 flavors. Oh, thank
All
you for
online.
mentioning that. Wow, look at that. So make sure you visit them online, all right? So for more information on empanology, you can go to empanology.com and, of course, check them out on Instagram. You're going to salivate just going through the photos. And thank you so much, Jason,
Thank
for
you for
being
having me,
here.
Rhina.
I'm going to
Pleasure.
have my empanada while we take this quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you. You're awesome. I messed that up.
I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
When I was in high school, I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home, and that's hard when you feel like you're doing it alone. That's when I met an artist, my mom, as I'll call her. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but your future is more important. She's my strength. Just being a support for those hard days and those hard nights, not giving up on me. Thank you to my mama. I wouldn't have did this if it wasn't for her. Today is for my mama and everybody who had my back. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. Some people would think, well, maybe it's really not that big of a deal, but it really is. changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
This year, we also sat down with ABC correspondent Lindsay Davis to discuss her children's book, The World is Awake, Celebrating Everyday Blessings, a book that focuses on everyday blessing through the eyes of a child. Let's take a look. So, through all the chaos in the world, we sometimes need to be reminded of the blessings we have in life. Emmy Award-winning journalist and ABC correspondent Lindsay Davis has chosen to take off her reporting hat for a moment to encourage us all to take note of appreciating things through everyday life with her new children's book, The World is Awake, A Celebration of Everyday Blessings. Please welcome author Lindsay Davis.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for having a moment in your life, right, in your hectic life, right? You're doing such amazing work, especially now incorporating the next generation. And so, between your reporting, between your running half marathons, right? I got to know her a little bit off air. And now incorporating this book tour, let's talk a little bit about how you're able to balance it all out.
Well, it's tough, right? I mean, but I think, as you know, as a mom, you start to learn how to spin multiple plates at the same time. But one thing, you know, it was my son who inspired the book. When he was 2, he said, "Mommy, does God open up the flowers?" And I thought, wow, I love the idea that he's curious and that he's able to make that connection with nature, right? And so I figured that he was kind of ready at that age and a little bit older to kind of get a gentle introduction to who God is through nature, right? Just through the world and what he sees around him every day. And part of the balance, I think, is just getting a sense of being able to share what I do with my son. What I do during my, well, it's not just my day job, because it's also, you know, I do Nightline and World News, so it's day and night, but what I do most regularly as a news correspondent for ABC, it's not stuff that really is appropriate for him at 4 years old now. You know, even we were talking the other day about like the Me Too and sexual harassment and Starbucks and things that, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know if I really want to share this with him. The everyday, often bad news of the world, right? So I decided, let me share the good news with him. And so this was something that where once I'd get home and put him to bed, that I would start kind of writing. And that process was really easy and enjoyable. It was kind of like a nice outlet to really not be so like weighed and bogged down by the heaviness of the daily news.
Of what you do as your occupation, as your primary occupation.
Yes.
Well, although I always say being a mom is the primary occupation.
That is very true. That's very true. And really that's where this all came from, when I was reading stories to him from when he was just an infant. And I kind of thought, you know, this is something that I would like to do and be able to have as a bond with him. You know, it's kind of like a message really to my son, but for all children everywhere.
Beautiful, which is the next generation. And on top of that, I love the way you just kind of meshed it all together, balancing your life as a mom, balancing just life in general, balancing the stories that are pretty much shared with the world, right? And so with the next generation, you've chosen to kind of put them on a path of just taking note of just the everyday little things that really matter. And this all comes from a 2-year-old who basically asked his mom, Mom, does God open up the flowers?
Exactly. And you know what it is? I think that when we get as adults into the grind of just the everyday, we put blinders on, we stop seeing and appreciating the world around us. And when you have that little person in your life who's kind of tugging at your shirt or grabbing your hand, they're saying, "Hey, Mommy, look at the butterflies, look at the rainbow, look at the sunset," you know, and they're excited. They're seeing these things really for the first time. And so then it's a reminder to us, a reminder to me to really start paying attention. Yeah, look, that rainbow is really pretty. Oh, look at the bunny rabbit, that is exciting. And so I find myself, it's so contagious, right? I find myself then back to him when I see something, I say, "Oh, Aiden, look at this, look at that," you know, and the snowflakes, you know, when often if it's snowing outside, you know, now finally we're into spring, thank God. But when it's snowing outside, you know, many of us are like, oh, it's going to be a longer commute into work, you know, but he's, you know, has his glove out, like, look at the snowflakes, look at this, you know, and so it's just a renewed energy. And that's kind of where we got the title from. The world is awake.
I like that title. That's a very special title. While it's simple, it's very profound. And just because you mentioned rainbows and we're referencing colors, and one of the things I did notice about your book is that it's people of color.
And that's so important. You know, when I was looking for children's books for my son, with the exclusion of, you know, Black History Month, when you have that table of all the black and brown children in books on a table, it's difficult to find. And initially I just thought, well, it's just anecdotal. Maybe I'm just not looking hard enough. And then I started putting on my reporter hat back on and did a little bit of research and realized that more than 90% of the protagonists in children's books are white. But yet, the children of our country, it's not reflective. You have about half of the kids in this country who are not white. And so it's so important that they get self-affirmed when they're reading. You know, if kids don't see themselves in books, then they're going to stop looking to books to find themselves. And that is a problem. I read this essay that I thought was just fabulous, where the lady talked about windows, mirrors, and sliding glass doors. And the idea is that every children's book needs a mirror. Kids need to be able to see themselves reflected in the pages of the books. They need a window to expose them to worlds that are not familiar to them, right? So if you're a white child, you don't need to only see children's books with white characters. If you're black, you don't only need to see. So it's about having that diversity in a world that might not be so familiar to you. And when that window is able to be effective, it becomes a sliding glass door that you're able to transport a child into this new world. And really, especially in times that we're living in right now, right?
Yeah.
You need that exposure, because the diversity and the inclusiveness, that helps to fight ignorance.
Right, to fight ignorance and the evil forces that are trying to separate us.
Yes, exactly.
Right? To put mildly, that's as mildly as I could put it. But it's beautiful because here you are contributing to the next generation, just coming in with a different mindset.
I hope so.
And that's the idea. But that's the idea. Well, it starts there, you know. And the fact that you have chosen to make sure that there's children of color in the book, that's a big deal, because you're right. You know, my daughter personally likes looking at different colors in her book. I mean, you know.
As she does, as I've seen in her new little book series that she's working on, right? It's just 8 years old, which is fabulous. And I noticed that in her characters, that they were all different colors. And that's just what we're trying to do. Not just to say, oh, we need to have all one color, right? It's all different colors. And in the book, when they go to the zoo, when they're at the market, you see all kids of all different colors. So it's not like, and you know what's the interesting thing? For kids, I've read this to a number of different, kids who are, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And while people often say kids don't see color, kids do see color. They just don't assign a value to the color, right? And so they're not looking and judging one way or another when they say, oh, that person's black or white or yellow or brown or red. It doesn't matter. They're just noticing it, but it doesn't take on then a negative
or a judgment call, right?
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, it becomes judgment, right?
Exactly.
And then, unfortunately, in the society that we live in, we're judged. Yes, so you want to put color on it, but really, it's financial, right? And so they associate color with certain financial brackets, and behavior as well. And then people are dealt with according to such, as opposed to just dealing with each other as human beings.
Exactly. But you said you like to just kind of run through life, right, with the lilies and the sun and all that. And that's what we're really doing. It's really kind of preserving, because there is this innocence to childhood. And that's what I was really kind of trying to just for myself, get back to that. Just get back to the idea of, jumping in leaves and rolling around on the grassy hill and just enjoying the world around us.
That's the blessing of being a mom.
Yes, it is.
And congratulations for putting it on paper.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk, before we go, let's talk about your tour and where people can get the book.
Yeah, so you can, wherever books are sold, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If your independent bookstore doesn't have it, you can ask them to get it, and they'll make sure that they have it. I'm going to be at 1 Corinthians Baptist Church this Sunday at 11 a.m. doing a book signing, but I'm all over. So my husband and I, as you said, we're running half marathons in each state. So we then go and promote the book along the way and find a bookstore. And so you can go on my website and we'll start listing. That's actually something that I'll do, is we'll start listing where I'll be, the different cities that it will be in, and that you can come and get a book signed.
Well, we're really grateful to you for making time to come and share with our viewers. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Once again, you guys, the world is awake. A celebration of everyday blessing is available everywhere in bookstores and online. And for more information, you can visit lindsaytdavis.com.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I bought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
One of the best parts of Open Friday is showcasing the different arts and cultures in our community. Open Artist Spotlight Highlights has allowed people from the Bronx and New York City to showcase their talents. Some are legends, award winners, some get discovered and travel abroad. We recently had the chance to witness 3 women display their different cultures through the art of percussion. Here's Souls of Duende. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through this past year. And thank you, viewers, for always tuning in throughout all these years. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at bronxnet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin. And from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor, And here's to tipping our hats to 2018. Adios.